indeed a difference between knowing and teaching, and that difference is communication. This quote is central to the philosophies within the field of instructional communication, a field at the intersection of pedagogy and educational psychology. The purpose of this video is to introduce new teachers to a few concepts within instructional communication and how these concepts may be used to improve outcomes in your classroom. First, let's talk about credibility. Now, this concept has been around since Aristotle first used it to describe the modes of persuasion, considering it to be the most important. While you may consider credibility to be synonymous with things such as experience and credentials, instructional communication scholars have found instructor credibility to be comprised of three distinct dimensions. The first of these dimensions is competence. That is, how informed, intelligent, or trained a teacher may present themselves. The second component of instructor credibility is goodwill, which describes how students perceive the instructor to care about them, hold their interests dear, and display sensitive and understanding behaviors. The third and final component of instructor credibility is trustworthiness, which may be observed through honest, ethical, and moral teaching styles and communication methods. There are a variety of ways you might put knowledge of instructor credibility to work in your classroom. An ideal opportunity is the proverbial, dreaded, but also important syllabus day. Among other things, this is a crucial time for you to emphasize topics such as a transparent grading system and a respectful, inclusive classroom environment to which everyone, including the instructor, will be held accountable. These obviously display your trustworthiness and goodwill. Here's another example. You may consider sending an early email prior to the opening of term, asking students what they've heard about the course topic, one thing they want to know about the subject, and/or an overview of their interests and goals. Then, on the first day of class, make a positive, affirming connection to their responses while citing specific studies or scholars relevant to the class. These examples are just a few of many ways you might showcase the three elements of instructor credibility. Worth noting from the literature, credibility has been positively associated with student motivation, teacher evaluations, and learning. The second instructional communication concept I have is classroom connectedness, defined as student-to-student perceptions of a supportive and cooperative communication environment in the classroom. Classroom connectedness is measured by a variety of both observable and perceived student reporting, from the students in my class praise or laugh with one another, to the students in my class are non-judgmental, or I feel included in my class discussions. You may remember examples from earlier work that would fit here. When possible, foster connectedness by randomizing and mixing up in-class group work and discussions throughout the year. Obviously, this concept may be more challenging in large classrooms, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. One such tactic might be splitting the class where they sit and assigning students to one of two sides of a relevant debate. Give them 3 minutes and encourage discussion with nearby peers. From there, you may call upon various individuals from both sides. The concept of classroom connectedness has been associated with participation, engagement outside of the class, and learning. Our last instructional communication concept, and the most widely researched, is immediacy. Immediacy has been defined as the degree of physical or psychological closeness between teachers and students. This is measured through both verbal and nonverbal behaviors. Instructors' verbal immediacy includes somewhat obvious things, such as calling students by name, using collective pronouns in communication, praising students' work, actions, or comments, and checking in with students on matters related to the course or their studies at large. Instructors who display high verbal immediacy also exercise self-disclosure by discussing their experiences and personal examples they've had outside of class. This notion of instructor self-disclosure has even been extended to the online world of Facebook. Nonverbal immediacy includes behaviors such as hand gestures while talking, maintaining eye contact with students, using a variety of vocal tones, and maintaining relaxed body language. Obviously, these tactics are largely self-descriptive, but they can take practice or even be difficult to execute depending on factors such as the classroom setting and size. Regardless of the situation, one easy method is moving throughout the class while teaching or even sitting alongside students while they complete in-class work. You may also consider ways you can remember and use students' names both inside and outside the classroom. The literature on instructor immediacy is extensive and complex, and is probably worthy of its own video. Still, it's widely accepted that immediacy is positively associated with several variables including student motivation, participation, instructor credibility, and learning. Obviously, the concepts we've discussed here can overlap and influence one another. This highlights the dynamic nature of classroom interactions and shows there is no silver bullet when it comes to maximizing educational outcomes. In fact, even with these useful concepts, it is important for you to know it is possible to have too much of a good thing. Beware of what some call the Goldilocks zone. For example, having too much classroom connectedness may lead to unruly classrooms. Dwelling on the competence aspect of credibility may communicate a perception of arrogance. On the flip side, focusing too much on immediate behavior may cause students to view you as a peer instead of a respected instructor. Nevertheless, these concepts may be useful as you develop your own teaching style and become more aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Hopefully, this video will serve as a roadmap for you and your upcoming classes. Should you want to explore more in-depth details on these concepts or other research within instructional communication, see the references outlined on the University of Kentucky website linked in the comments of this video. Thanks for listening, and best of luck in your future instruction.